the term شيطنة النصرانية or شيطنة الصليب, demonizing the cross. I think it's a duty for those. It's not in the Islamic law to demonize the figures of the devil. But look what they're doing. They're demonizing Islam. I mean, the cross itself, look at there is even in the system. This is not a faith, so-called Christianity. It's not a faith. No, it's not. It is a room, they call it the church. Okay, they are wonderful people, lovely. If someone beat you from here, give him the other check to be whatever. Rubbish, he didn't say it. But even if he said it in a different way, the Messiah. And what for the Caesar is for the Caesar, and what for the God is for the God. This is rubbish. Rubbish, absolutely rubbish. And with all of this, the crusade attack, all of this, SAIKSPICO, after the Industrial Revolution, the cross is still walking around. I mean, the cross is behind the way that the devil, we're dealing with the devil, how he dealt with the cross and the so-called Christianity, have helped in allowing the gays to announce themselves being gays. It is how it is. The cross, how he attacked, how he manipulated, how he put a Prussia and the revolt and things. So but don't take me wrong. Also, the cross can also, the devil can change his method dealing with the cross based on how the environment of those who call themselves Christian, and start persecuting and burning even the gays again. I need to close someone's door. No, this is the facts. This is the fact. This is the introduction to what I'm gonna say. The cross is as I said, in the church people are relating themselves to themselves. Wonderful. But how it can be developed. Go to SAIKSPICO, when they put the borders. France representer and English representer last century. You go and ask them, what is your faith? Of course, we're Christian. Of course, they will say we are Christian. They got nothing to do with Christianity. And they got nothing to do with what Christianity, the so-called Christianity, used to be even before the Industrial Revolution and secularism and liberalism, the medieval times. Let's take a Christian. We have a problem with Islam. I have explained about this. Now, I'm not talking about so-called Hindu, so-called Buddhist, or so-called. I'm talking about. Some might say, no, they are Jews. Jews European. Well, the cross is behind this power in Europe, which was imposed by the sword, by the Romans to the Europeans. So the devil is using the West and others, of course, definitely, not me, other dark groups all over the world. He's using you. And at the same time, you come and demonize Islam because you're freak, you're stupid, you're crazy, you're insane. You just choose to be in hellfire. That's it. You choose to not obey God's instruction. You choose not to challenge God. And at the same time, you read the so-called Bible. We are the people of God. Now, the people of God. Now, this is another. Look at the borders. I think it's easy for those who are smarter than me, with more knowledge, to understand what I'm trying to say about the cross. How filthy the devil weighs. How filthy the cross, which is used by the devil. Filth. You know the meaning of the filth. Yeah. It was. I mean, filth is good comparison. I'm not talking about other dark group which might take advantage. I'm not talking about the so-called Hindus who, if they had this power while they are in deep taghut worshipping, that they would say, we divide the Holy Land. If there is no Judea, if there is no so-called Christianity, we will divide, make it Palestine, and make the Muslim nation weak and divided as we. No. The so-called Christianity, they need to establish something. The so-called Christian need to question Muhammad and say why he is putting his nose in our Injil while they are the one who is putting their nose. And the Messiah and the messengers of Israelis, why you even call yourself Christian or Jews? I'm wondering, and I have the right to wonder. I understand so many of you will be angry with the truth that I'm saying, starting from the white race and others. Now, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Emirates, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. People are saying in the West, it's Gulf states, like Bush Jr. It's like the United States of America. It's Josh Sport. No, it's like English. No, England and Scotland and Ireland. No. It's like let's take England, we can take France, Paris, we can take any other country, Japan, for example. Let's take England. just على سبيل المثال يعني ليس لا أحصر الموضوع فيه. Only as an example, have nothing to do with all England. Imagine England, Liverpool, Manchester. There is Liverpoolians, Londoners, and Mancunians. People who live there. Imagine if some external satanic power, the devil is working on it. Satan himself. Satan. Okay, how teaching of the devil to make a good place for the Antichrist, to drag people from the mercy of God. And they divided England. Imagine if London is the capital of a country called Saudi Arabia, and Liverpool is a country of, they call it Liverpool, and Manchester, Mancunian state. And the English people are looking at each other. This is what's happening in Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Emirate, and Oman. Looking at each other. I have a passport of Saudi Arabia, the capital of London. And the other is looking, these cities are in England. And the others are looking and saying, I have the passport of Liverpool, and you have the passport of Manchester. It did not stop to this level. It went to another level through the decades, attacking our nation, attacking our religion, using this division to attack even Islam. And you look. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, because imagine if London is the biggest, the capital of the biggest Cantonian state. What we see right now, imagine if someone in Manchester or Liverpool, like me, coming, even if he's a foreigner, without even a passport, would come and assault the English people, shut up, assault them and say, return back to London. Your state is the biggest Cantonian state in England. This is Manchester. We're from Manchester, and you return back from London. And at the same time, someone like Tariq, this is not an example, someone like, my situation is absolutely different from this. He's coming with a different faith, criticism to the religion, criticism to the culture. People start forgetting themselves in Bahrain, in Kuwait, and start assaulting the natives who are living in Kuwait and saying, you are originally from Saudi Arabia. Why you're Bedouin. And in Saudi Arabia, there is assault by those who... You don't understand the levels of racism that we are dealing with. And because of what happened last century, our mind is not easy, especially if there is no representation. Our mind is not easy to make us identify the racism against us. You don't understand. I understand. From the age of 15 to 20, 25, to 25 to 30, 30, 35 when I came here until, who am I right now? You don't understand and you're behind it. All group, the so-called Shiite, and even the so-called Hindus and the so-called Buddhists in China, and how they interfered by the United Nations, the so-called Israelis, you're all part of it. In Africa as well, assault against Arab, against Islam. You are racist. You are a bad racist people, but you can't see it. The cross. Do you see the cross? Now the cross is having what? Some of the women, making them eat pork, drink. Christianity. Liberty, Christianity. This is the rubbish, the shit. Church for gays. This is how you are anti-Christian and cursed. The respectable Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, I might lose some time and say some bad words, whatever. Queen Elizabeth, she is the head, or the king, or the queen, the head of the church. What the fuck is she's the Caesar, the Pope, in so many points within the history. He's a Pope. He's a Caesar. What's rubbish? What type of contradiction? I'm not gonna go talk about the so-called Shiite. And the so-called Hindus or the so-called Buddhists, or even those who insist calling themselves Jews, got nothing to do with Judah, the so-called Israelis. I'm going to talk about you. What the fuck you're doing? Especially those who call themselves Christian. The atheists, there is a different way to deal with the rotten filth in the mind of those who call themselves atheists. Should I scream and say it's unrealistic border between Oman and Emirates? Emirates and Saudi Arabia and Oman. Qatar and Saudi Arabia, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. I mean, if you remember in the Jubail Industrial College when I was in GIC, I used to laugh with some Ismaelian. You name it, Rashidi, Hajri, Anizi. I'm Anizi Kuwaiti. I'm Anizi Saudi. Ha! Huwaiti, Bani Atiyah. I am Huwaiti, Jordan. Even Jordan. Even parts of Iraq. And Sena is ours, and you got nothing to do with the Holy Land. This is the cross. This is the star of the devil. This is the star of Satan. This is the star of dimension, got nothing to do with David, peace be upon him. This is your filth, which you call Judaism and Christianity. You are mal'oon, cursed, kafir, infidel, but you cannot see it. Men, women, you are bad. You worship the Antichrist, or you worship the Satan with his Tagutic wild beast. You got nothing to do with the most merciful God, Allah, the creator of existence. The Bible have a lot of instruction of the devil instruction, kill instruction to kill the children, to rape. What the fuck is this? I'm not talking about the so-called Shiite. I'm not talking about the so-called Hindus. I'm not talking about the so-called Buddhists. They can be worse than you, and sometimes you are worse. What is this? Wake up, you demons. Recently, even in Egypt, Coptics, they call themselves Coptics, though I am sure that they came from outside. Some of them may be Eastern European, and they settled in Egypt, and now they are calling themselves Coptics. He's screaming, you need to change Al-Fatiha. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Those who lost and bring anger. Fuck off. You are not from those ضالين. You are worse. You got nothing to do with Nasraniya, even, or مغضوب عليها, because you're demons. When did he start saying this? When the invader from outside came and manipulated the truth, all truth about the Middle East. Now they are talking agreement. Fuck off. I mean, Gulf states. 1 second. There is a story even between Emirate and Oman. There is a video. There is a video about it, and it's not enough video. There is a lot of videos about between Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, South Jordan and It's a joke. Some parts of Iraq and Saudi. It's a joke. And how? But there is Oman and Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. It's a joke. The borders. That's Kuwait wanted that, and Saudi Arabia wanted that. And the ISMAELIAN at that time, lack of knowledge, whatever you name it, weakness, the change after the Ottomanic. There is a lot of reason and factors. There is one of the stories. I'm going to mention it before I close. Oman and the UAE, and I found a video about it. A group of people in what's called UAE right now said at the time of borders, we want to be part of Oman. Look at the maps of UAE and Oman. There's a small portion inside UAE for Oman. It's a joke, unrealistic. Look at the world we are living in.